She actually tried to sue me for not living in her HOA, even though I didn't own a single house there. What she didn't realize was that I owned something far more powerful, the land beneath their entire subdivision. In 5 minutes, into court, her HOA went from entitled rulers to legally extinct. I never thought a woman I had never met, living in a neighborhood I didn't even belong to, would try to sue me for not following her HOA rules. But that's exactly what happened the day Karen McAllister, president of the Foxgrove Hills HOA, decided I was an enemy to her personal empire. It started when I bought 40 wooded acres next to the prestigious Foxgrove Hills subdivision to build a private retreat cabin for my retirement. Well outside their fence line and well outside any jurisdiction the HOA supposedly had, or so I thought, until I received my first cease and desist letter for unauthorized structures. A letter adorned with HOA logos, legal jargon, and threats of fines. I thought it was a mistake, tossed it aside, and went about my business clearing dead trees and laying the foundation. But within a week came a second letter, this one hand-delivered by Karen herself, who marched right up to my construction site. In her sun hat, clipboard in hand, with that tight-lipped smile that screamed condescension. "Sir," she began, like I was a trespassing teenager, "you're not in compliance with Foxgrove Hills approved architectural guidelines." I blinked at her, genuinely confused. "I don't live in Foxgrove Hills," I said, pointing to the survey markers and property pins hammered into the dirt. "You're standing on my land." That didn't faze her. "It affects our neighborhood's view and property values," she sniffed. "You'll need to file plans with our committee or face legal action." I laughed in her face and said, "Karen, this isn't SimCity. You don't control me." She left in a huff, muttering something about known compliance and seeing me in court. I figured it was empty HOA noise until the real court papers arrived via certified mail, showing she'd filed suit against me on behalf of the HOA for non-compliance with community standards, demanding I tear down the structure, pay daily fines, and cease all development until reviewed by the board. My lawyer couldn't believe it either. "They have no authority over you," he said, flipping through the complaint. "But this isn't a mistake. It's harassment." That's when I decided to fight back, not just to win, but to end them. You see, decades ago I inherited this land from my grandfather, who had sold off a chunk of it to developers with one critical condition buried deep in the lease agreement. The HOA would remain legal only as long as the original landowner, us, didn't revoke use of the access easements and didn't terminate the land lease beneath their roads, parks, and clubhouse. It was a technicality few knew about because no one expected the original landowner to still be around. But I was, and I had the original deed and contract to prove it. So while Karen was busy printing out fake citations and bragging on Nextdoor about taking down the non-compliant outsider, I was working with my attorney, county assessors, and title officials to activate a clause so old it predated the HOA's founding. 1 week before the hearing, I filed a counterclaim with documentation showing I wasn't under their jurisdiction, and a petition to terminate the land lease beneath key parts of the subdivision, and we walked into court. Karen strutted in with 3 HOA board members and a lawyer dressed like they were at a country club gala, laughing as if this was a guaranteed win. But when the judge asked her attorney what legal right the HOA had to regulate my land, fumbled, citing vague environmental impact concerns and adjacency clauses not found anywhere in county code. Then my lawyer stood up and dropped a leather-bound copy of the original 1979 land agreement on the judge's bench. "Your Honor," he said calmly, "the plaintiff not only has no authority over my client's property, but my client holds legal grounds to revoke their access and terminate portions of their development." The courtroom went silent. Karen's face turned red, her mouth open, but no words came out, and the judge raised an eyebrow. "Is this valid?" he asked. The clerk confirmed it. 5 minutes later, the case was dismissed with prejudice. But I wasn't done. That afternoon, I delivered formal notice to Foxgrove Hills HOA that effective immediately. Their access to key portions of their own community, the park, the lake trail, the utility easement, and the clubhouse was rescinded pending negotiation, and their HOA charter was now in violation of their own legal framework. Residents began flooding the HOA office in panic. Board members quit. Karen tried to hold an emergency meeting but couldn't secure quorum, and within days the county officially labeled their HOA status as inactive. Karen showed up on my property again, this time not to argue, but to beg. "You can't do this," she pleaded. "This is hundreds of families' homes." I looked her dead in the eye and said, "You should have thought of that before suing the one person who could pull the plug." And just like that, the HOA. She weaponized against innocent people, the same one that fined teens for skateboarding and banned lawn. Furniture not up to code was gone forever.